Hey everyone, and welcome to this 10x live stream. First of all, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the subscribers who have recently subscribed, and it really does help me. It means I can work full time on 10x. So the more subscribers I get, the more likely it is I can carry on working on 10x, which is what I really want to do. So a big thank you there. And also a big thank you to all of my existing subscribers. Some of you have been with me for a number of years actually, on the Discord channel. And it really is you that help make 10x what it is. You know, the feedback I get on bugs and feature requests and things like that, and suggestions are just absolutely brilliant. So I feel like it's a shared effort making 10x. And hopefully long may it continue. So this is live stream number 15. I can't believe it. And I just thought it'd be a good time to take a step back and think about where I am and what I've achieved over that time. So I realised that 10x, I've been working on 10x for about 5 years now. Let's get my notes up. Yeah, I was looking back through my Perforce change list, and the first check-in I could find was 2017 in February. So yeah, it almost is exactly 5 years. I think I was working on it a bit before then because I was working on the UI before I actually started on 10x itself. I just thought it'd be fun to show you the revision graph. Hopefully you can see that. So I just chose the commands CPP file, which I can't show you the file here, I don't think, but let's have a look. It's back in the depths of the history of Perforce. Yeah, it's not going to let me view it. Anyway, it had one command in there, which was basically toggle source and header file. And now it's got about 170 commands in it, so it's grown radically. And this is back when it used to be called Coed instead of 10x, Code Editor, which is a terrible name. But anyway, I changed that in, when's this? Is it not going to give me a date here? Oh yeah, down here. Yeah, so shortly after I started, I changed it to 10x. I renamed it there. I don't know what this jump was, because it's the same path. I think maybe that was when my PC needs to be replaced and I had to rebuild the Perforce database or something. I'm not quite sure. And then I changed my root depot to main. It was SCL. Changed it to main. I created the 10x release branch, and here you can see me jumping backwards and forwards between the main branch and 10x release. So if I've just got a small change, I'll make the change directly in the release branch and then just release it to everyone. But if it's a bigger change, I'll make the changes in the main branch, checking in as I go, and then integrate to main when it's ready. So there you can see sort of jumping backwards and forwards, integrating to and fro until where we are now. So yeah, a lot of changes and a lot of work. I mean, it's funny to think that I started 10x as just something for myself. You know, I thought I could make an editor which would be good enough just for me in a few months, and it'd be a fun little thing to do. And it turned into this massive project that I've been going for years, and yeah, it's been quite a journey since then. Yeah, let's show you Telemetry. I don't know if you've seen this before. I think I've shown you. So this is what I collect from the telemetry that people can opt into if they want. And this is from the start. So this is how much 10x is used every day. So this is in hours. So it's like 75 hours now per day over all users. So that's a pretty good metric to see how much 10x is actually being used. And as you can see, I had a big jump here when I think I released something on Twitter. I think that was when I did the 3,000 frames per second or something, and it got picked up on Twitter. And then interestingly here, there was another big jump, and that was over December, over Christmas period. And I think a lot of people over Christmas were starting to discover 10x, but also it's when I put in the memory optimization where I reduced memory by about 80%. And it seems that quite a few people have said, they've started using it since then because it's kind of viable for them to use. So that's really promising. That's really good. This is number of users per day, and this is crashes. So hopefully not too many crashes. So that's the telemetry. Right. Let's bring up the roadmap. So as I'm kind of taking stock of where I am, the end is in sight for feature complete. Obviously I don't mean all features ever will be done because it's a never-ending task to do all of the features. But at least the features I need to release version 1.0. And we're getting very close now. I've got a few fixes for the preprocessor. I'm thinking about doing a general syntax highlighting system. Just so that people can add syntax highlighting for other languages. It won't be a full parser or anything, it would just literally be for the syntax colouring. So it'd be nice to have syntax highlighting for C# and Python, etc., things like that. And I was also thinking of doing a quick setup guide for when people first install 10x. It will just take them through setting font and font sizes and layout and things like that. But I'll see. I might not get that done, but we'll see. And then it's just bug fixing and polish. I'm taking a break and doing some bug fixing now. So I've chosen about 30 bugs to do, which are very small, very quick to do, but should add a lot of value to people. And everyone on Discord has been very patient with me working on the big features recently. So now I think it's time to blast through some of those small issues that just make life better. And then obviously we've got all the extra stuff to do in the future. So it's a never-ending list of things to do once it's released. But now I just need to get to release, and I feel like I'm getting close. So that's really good. So what have I been doing since the last time? Now, last time I talked about the Find in Files feature, so that's live now. And I've been working on it a bit more since then as well. And I actually made it 3 times faster. I realized that it was doing some crazy string operations in the find files function. So when it recursively goes through and lists directories and files and stuff like that, it was just doing crazy string operations. So I got rid of that, and now it's super fast. It's not doing any caching yet, so it's not going to be as fast as the workplace search. But it's pretty good. It beats most other editors already, even without the caching. So, and I've worked a bit more on the drop downs, so you can find all files in the workspace. Hang on, let's make that a little bit bigger, so you can all see. So yeah, I've worked on the drop downs, finding the path and stuff like that. And the filters, I've made the filters wildcards now, so you can put any wildcard filter you like in here, and it should work. Because somebody pointed out, because I just had it file extensions rather than wildcards, and someone pointed out you couldn't do star.star to find all files. So I've added that now, and you can obviously type in anything you want into this field as well. So anyway, I think I went over that last time, so I'm not going to go over that again. It should all be working now, and replacing files is there as well. So find and replace with whatever. So that should all be working. I've done a bunch of other small things as well, bug fixing. I've made some colour scheme improvements so that everything updates. There are still a few things that don't update properly. The tree doesn't always update properly, and the light colour scheme needs a bit more work. So I'm going to be doing that over the next few days, but it should be getting better. And I've done some fixes to FindSymbol, the FindSymbol and find function in file. Should be working a little bit better now. It's not missing anything, which is always good. And I've done some font rendering fixes as well. So if you're using, because I'm fortunate enough to be using a 4K display and I kind of don't notice its font issues, but someone pointed out that when you're on a standard resolution, very small fonts, there were some errors in the rendering basically, and I fixed that now, so it should look a little bit sharper. And I've also made JetBrains Mono the default font as well, because I've been using it for a while now and I really like it. It's a really clean font. So hopefully you'll like that. So that's built into 10x as part of the install. So it should just work for you. So the big thing I've been working on since last time is the docking. It had docking, obviously, I'm sure you know, but it was a little bit tricky to use. It wasn't user friendly, and it should work a lot better now. So you've probably seen it already in the latest build. It now has these docking buttons, basically, or areas. Before, you would just drag it into where you wanted and drop it, and it would dock there. Because I've never really liked these buttons before in other editors. I think, why can't I just drop it where I want it? But the problem with that is, it's great if you're trying to dock stuff. If you're not trying to dock stuff, for example, and you're just trying to resize or move, it was docking stuff by mistake, as I'm sure you noticed, and it was really annoying. And I tried lots of little fixes to that, delays and things like that, but it never worked well. It was just confusing, and I got a lot of feedback saying, why isn't it working properly? And I think that's one thing about good UI design is, if a user says it's not working properly, you should never say you're using it wrong. That's the worst thing you can say. That you shouldn't need to explain how to use a UI. It's like explaining a joke. It's just not funny once you've explained it. And so it's really good to listen to feedback when you're designing UI. So anyway, the docking is done now, and it's so much easier to use. And so you can dock things in the panel grid. Usually you wouldn't probably use that, because you would just use the shortcut keys to move stuff around in the panel grid, these files here. But obviously you can drag it with the mouse if you want to, but the more useful thing is dragging the tool panels around. So if I want to put that over the right side, I can. And if, for example, I want to put the output, a lot of people put the output at the bottom. That should just work now. And the other thing I've done is, I can't remember if I did this before, but I've split the build and the output panels into two panels. So I can, say, dock them both at the bottom here. And let's get that back to one. So as you can see, I've now got build and output in the same panel at the bottom. And another thing I've done is I've got rid of the drag bar. So when you drag something out, and say I've got two panels in here, as you can see, I can drag them together because it's got a single bar here and then the tabs, which is fine. But what I realized is when it's docked at the bottom like this, you've got all this wasted area of a drag bar and the tabs. And I just realized it's not needed, so I just got rid of the drag bar. It does mean you can't drag both these tabs out at the same time. You have to drag them out individually. But I think that's quite a rare thing to do, and you gain all this screen space that you wouldn't otherwise have. And to me, I want to keep 10x as minimal as possible with the UI, so that you're literally just seeing as much code as possible. That's something that's always been important to me in editors. So anyway, I hope you find that useful and better than it was before. Oh yeah, I was going to show you, there was another thing I did with the docking, which is a subtle thing, and you probably won't notice if you've never written a docking system yourself. It's kind of hard to explain, but it does make it slightly better in the way that it works. So just a quick explainer. So usually when you dock, say I'm docking this blue panel into the right hand side, the way you do that is, first of all, you need to insert another panel behind the current panel you're docking, because to split it you need to add another child. So I can't add another child to this. So what I do is I create a new parent and then reparent this to that, and then I can split this one in the parent. So if you see here, the parent has this one. The parent has just one child, obviously. This is the window we're doing. And then over here, when I split it, it's got two children. One is docked to the right and the other is docked as fill, the original one. So, and that's just basically the way you do docking. It's nothing, it's pretty much the way all docking systems work, I assume. But what I realized is, say I've got a panel over here on the right and I want to dock to the right again. Instead of doing this and splitting the panel, it's actually much better to add it to the original panel. So these two, the original panel and the new one, are parents of the original parent, if you see what I mean. I'm not actually splitting and creating a new parent. I'm just docking it to the right again. So I've now got two panels docked to the right, which is actually what you want when you're docking. It's a more intuitive way of working. So like I said, it's probably something you won't notice, hopefully, but it will just work as you expect. And let's see if I can give you an example. So if I'm docking to the right here, I've now got this panel docked to the right and then the workspace tree. And I haven't split the workspace tree at all. I've literally just docked it again. So I can dock as many panels as I want here. And yeah, I think it just works a bit better. So I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, like I said, you probably won't notice if you haven't written a docking system yourself. It's not something you'd think of. But with UI design, it's just these little subtle things of, is it working as I would expect? And yeah, it just takes a little bit of thinking about. I've written a number of docking systems over the years. This is probably like my fourth one I've done for UI. So hopefully I'm getting better at it now, and hopefully I'm getting it right. So do ask any questions as we go, those of you on the live stream. And the other thing I've done is the settings autocomplete. So let's get the settings file back. Let's make this a bit bigger for you. So one thing that's always been tricky in 10x right from the start is the setting of the font. Because it used to be you had to set the name of the TTF file but without the TTF extension, which caught everyone out, including me, a number of times. I don't know why I did it that way. It was a bit crazy. And also it's quite hard to find the name of the TTF files in the fonts folder, because when you open up C Windows fonts, it shows you this kind of weird view where each one of these fonts represents a number of TTF files for bold, italic, regular, etc. So you have to go into the command prompt and list them from there or something. And So now what 10x does, it will enumerate all fonts on startup and then cache them off. So it knows the names of all fonts. So it's not using the TTF file name anymore. It's actually using the name of the fonts. And it'll give you a drop-down list, which is just like normal autocomplete. So you can write console us, for example, and then change it there. Undo. So that's changing the main UI font, obviously. So hopefully that's a bit better. This one will show you a smaller list because it should. Is that? Oh, scroll bar doesn't work. That's interesting. To fix that. This is just showing you the fixed width fonts. So it's a smaller list. So hopefully that'll make it easier for you. And while I was doing that, I thought I'd add it for everything else. So I've now got drop downs for most of the settings, not all of them yet. Most of them that take sort of enum values now have a setting. So that should make it a lot easier, hopefully. Some comments. So GGN is asking about UI and are you more of a retained mode person or immediate mode? So I've never actually used a immediate mode UI. I guess I'm always retained. I've never really thought about it. I could probably do a stream on that and why I prefer it. It's just the way I've always worked. So yeah, not sure what more I can say on that without really going into detail on the UI, which I have done in some previous streams. So another question about the drag bar with the docking. Is it worth using empty tab spaces as the drag bar? That way we can save real estate while still being able to drag multiple tabs at once. Yeah, I see what you mean. I was thinking about doing that. So say you've got panels dragged like this. I could actually use this blank area because you don't usually have that many tabs, and then you could drag multiple columns at once. And yeah, I think I probably will do that at some point. It's not high on my list of projects right now, but I think that's definitely a good idea. The other thing I was thinking of is that I could maybe just do shift drag. So if you shift drag, say if I shift drag this one, it would drag all of them at once. Because here on the main panel grid, there is no main drag bar, and often it's full up. So often most people have so many files open that this is full up and loads more files beside. So there's nowhere really to sort of drag. Maybe I could add a button here or something to drag all of them at once. So yeah, that's definitely something I could do. Let me know if it becomes an issue and a priority, and I can do that. So with the autocomplete in the settings, I've also done it for the key bindings. So that's another thing where it's always been a little bit tricky with 10x because before you had to know what the commands were, obviously, but now there's again another autocomplete drop down, so you can choose any function here. Which should make it a lot easier. The other thing that I think a lot of people aren't aware of is that you can just bind a key to a Python function. So for example, example.py script just has a hello world function which just prints hello world to the output. And then by default, that's bound to Alt-H. So you can just bind any Python function directly to a key. And that makes it a lot easier when you're writing scripts and you don't have to set up key intercepts or anything like that. So Alt-H should print hello world, and it doesn't. Oh. because I said it's something else. I often use this as my test. It's got an old file. Okay, I'm editing the wrong file, that's why. I need to be editing the script in app data. So yeah, as you can see, I've got a whole load of nonsense in there. Let's put that back, and then Alt-H, hello world. So you can see it's very simple to create your own scripts to do stuff, and then bind them to any key you want. I mean, I could do another stream maybe next time on Python scripting, and sort of take you through a few examples of doing that, because people are writing more scripts now, and I think maybe that would be useful. So let me know. Remember, you've always got the command prompt. So if I type in help, that will list all the API commands. Well, you've got, this is one thing that probably is worth explaining, you've got 10x commands, which correspond basically to like the file, the menu items. And so pretty much any menu item that's bound to a key is a command, because in the key bindings file, that's what it's, these are internal 10x commands. And you can execute any 10x command from a script by doing, it's not there, but anyway, you can do you can do 10x editor execute command, say move panel up, and that will do the same thing as this. So it's really useful to look through the help and get used to all the 10x commands you can do, because you can bind them to keys, but you can also use them from Python scripts. And then the help also lists the Python API. So these are built-in functions, 10x, so in the Python bindings. And that's what, say, 10x editor insert text. So insert text is actually part of the Python API in 10x. That's not a command as such, but it's part of the Python API. So they're useful to know about as well. And I'm adding stuff all the time. And if you ever need something for a script, it's pretty easy for me to add anything that you might want. As you can see, there's also already quite a lot of files in, quite a lot of functions in there. So question: when you bind a key to a Python function, does 10x look through all the PY files and finds the function? Yes, although it's already got them. Whenever you save a Python file, it basically, you can kind of think of it as compiling the file. So if I make a change to this and then save it, as I save it, let's put an error in there. So in the output, you should see, no, it didn't show an error. There you go. So as you save it, you'll see the error appear in the output window. And as it's doing that compilation of the script, it enumerates all the functions that it can call. So any function will get picked up immediately, so it shouldn't be too slow to iterate through all the scripts each time. So I'm kind of using Python in a slightly weird way, because it's not sort of interpreted in a way, it's more of a compiled language. But it'll obviously just compile it on every time the file changes. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm gonna, one thing I didn't put on my roadmap is I'm gonna update to the latest Python soon. And what that'll mean is, because at the moment I'm statically linking to the Python lib, And the problem with that is it doesn't allow you to add, packages to Python. So if you want to use a package that isn't part of the 10x install in Python, currently there's no way you can install it. So I found that what I have to do is use the DLL linkage, and then you can add stuff dynamically. So you can kind of just drag and drop the folder of your package into the 10x Python install, into the install folder, and then it should just work. So hopefully that will help people to extend 10x even more. So that should be good. I'll add that to my roadmap. Okay, so I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments. The other thing I've been doing, I think I mentioned this, but I've been going through the bug database and updating it. And clearing out any bugs that are fixed or aren't relevant anymore, and making sure everything is labelled correctly. So I've added a new label which is current, which is the stuff I'm currently working on. So what I kind of tend to do is just choose a whole load of bugs and say that's my current list of things. I'll get all those done before I do anything else. And these are all really quick, short bugs. So hopefully I'll be able to get through these in a week or so. And lots of just minor but usability things. And I've added, I mark them as done when they're done. So this filter is, oh no, this is for all current. What I usually do is do minus label done, just to show me, oops, it might help if I spelled it correctly. So when I mark it as done, then it doesn't appear in this list. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to close the bug until I've put it in a release. So done means done for me, but I haven't released it yet to everyone. So hopefully that makes sense. And I cleaned up a few of the old labels. I've added a big task label for things that aren't just bugs. They're really big chunks of work for a few weeks or so. And a lot of these are priority 4. And priority 4 doesn't mean I'm never going to do. It just means I'm not going to think about it until after release. So you can have a look through those and see what's planned for the future. So anything that comes up, which I don't want to work on yet, but I think, yeah, in the future that's a good idea, goes into priority 4. And a lot of those are the big task features in black, big scary black tasks. Check just means I need to recheck and see if it's still an issue, because a lot of things have been fixed, but I've forgotten to close the bug. So that's what that is. And I've also got a new one for Unreal Engine. So anything Unreal specific goes in here. So for those of you using Unreal, do let me know of things that are specific to Unreal, because I do want to spend some time at some point fixing those. So a lot of it is to do with parsing and macros and things like that. Okay, so question, what is the pricing licensing going to be after the 1.0 release? I haven't decided on the pricing yet. It's probably going to be similar to what a lot of people are paying with a subscription now, and it's probably going to be yearly. I maybe add an option for monthly payment as well, but I'll probably do it yearly. So yeah, I haven't decided on that yet, but hopefully it will be reasonable. Yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I've decided that. So we're getting close now, and it's something I need to start thinking about. But it's going to be, I imagine, comparable to other editors out there. So someone said, wouldn't it be a good idea to somehow refactor Python scripting so that every script has its own namespace? And you can also hide internal functions from 10x. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I'm trying to think how you'd do that with Python. Because I mean, yeah, you kind of already do that with imports, I think. I'm a bit rusty on Python now. And you can hide, actually no, I haven't done that yet, but you will be able to hide functions by putting an underscore in front. And that will hide it. That's kind of a Python way of doing things, I think. And that will hide it from telex. Not yet, though, I haven't added that, but that's something I will add at some point. But yeah, that's something I'll think about. It's a good idea. Okay, so I think I've gone through everything I was going to talk about. So yeah, do feel free to add bugs yourself. And then you can watch bugs as well if it's something you're interested in. And it does help me to know if a lot of people are waiting on the same bug, and then I can prioritize it. Because if it's just one person wanting the bug, then it might not be prioritized as highly as if 5 people want it. So do let me know on the Discord chat, or maybe do a thumbs up on the bug or something. I think you can do that here. Yeah, just add a thumbs up or something on the bug if you're interested in it as well, or put a comment on here. So yeah, do feel free to add bugs yourself. And to the new subscribers, do check out the Discord channel. It's where we talk about bugs and new features, and we also talk about general programming as well. So as I'm sure you're aware, I'm doing a Wednesday night C++ live stream now, where I talk about what I think makes good C++ code. We also talk about that occasionally. It's really, we've got some really good programmers on there, and it's a really good place to share and learn. So hopefully you'll find that useful. Yeah, so I think I'll leave it there. There was something else I was going to say. No, maybe not. Just looking through future things. It may well be that I do bump some of these up to before the 1.0 release. So I'm not 100% decided these are the only things. I might add some more things in, but we'll see. So the GitHub Issues is priority 1 and priority 2 currently. So I'm going to try, if anything's priority 2, that pretty much means it's needed for release. So I may well be moving stuff up from priority 3 to priority 2 as we go. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully not too much. So priority 2 bugs, how many have we got? 86. It's quite a lot, but it's manageable. That's definitely doable. So anyway, that's me. I'm going to be working through bugs for the next week at least, maybe 2 weeks. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, keep giving me feedback and keep chatting on the Discord channel. So thanks for that, and I'll see you next time.